Hey guys, it's me again. Today I thought I would kind of take a break from maybe talk about movies and um, obviously still talk about them, but I'm going to actually talk about documentaries, a couple of documentaries today. Um, like, I don't know how many of you are aware of this, but I mean, obviously I'm a huge horror fan, but I actually really enjoy watching documentaries, like even like sports documentaries. Like I'm not the biggest sports fan, but I like checking out kind of like all different sort of documentaries. Um, but yeah, so today I kind of want to talk about a couple that, or a few, I should say, not just a couple. But I want to talk about a few today that I've seen that I really like, I really enjoy. The first one I want to talk about um, is one that I actually don't own, but I actually just watched for the first time a couple months ago, called Killer Legends. And I know it's on Amazon. It's on Amazon Prime. If you're a Prime member, it does like come included in Prime, so you don't have to like pay to rent it or anything. Um, I know when I first saw this documentary, it was not on Netflix. But keep in mind, this was a couple of months ago. They may have put it up on Netflix. I'm not 100% sure. I probably should have checked that out first for you guys. Sorry. I know it's not on like Shutter or Screenbox. I haven't seen it on there yet, but who knows? But like I said, I know for sure it's on Amazon Prime. I suggest taking a look at this movie because it's really interesting. Like it's about these two filmmakers who kind of examine, I think, like four or five pretty well-known urban legends, and they go out to kind of explore these urban legends to see if maybe there's some grain of truth in it, or maybe if there's like an event that maybe inspired some of these urban legends to actually become what they are, urban legends. It really is interesting. Like I said, there's like four or five urban legends that they look at. Like last one, they talk about like clowns, especially recently. Like, I feel like maybe within the last few years, especially a few years ago, there was so many like, and I don't even know how many of these were true, but so many things on like social media and like news outlets and stuff of like these clowns that seem to be like like popping up everywhere, like these really creepy clowns, and they're kind of like looking at that and stuff, and just all these other things. That's pretty fascinating. And actually, interesting little side note on that is like I watched it and then I actually told one of my sister Megan, about it. Who her and I very rarely kind of watch like the same stuff, but like once in a while, if we are digging something, we kind of recommend stuff to each other. And I actually recommended this movie to her, and like a few nights or a week after I watched it, she saw and she was like, same thing. She's like, dude, that's actually really interesting. Um, and also too about this documentary, the filmmakers, they were actually the same ones who a few years before this, because this one, Killer Legends, came out I think in 2014, and then a few years before that, they actually um, did this other documentary called Cropsy about like all the disappearances and this gentleman who was arrested for like this being Cropsy up in Jersey. That's actually another really good one. I recommend watching that too. I watched that a couple times. I know that's on, I believe it's still on Netflix. I know it's also on Shutter, I believe. Shutter or Screenbox. It's on one of the like horror Netflix type streaming services. But yeah, check both of those out. Those are really, like I said, really good documentaries. I really enjoyed watching those. Um, so yeah, I kind of wanted to get that one out of the way, just because, like I said, I don't have anything to like show you guys. We unfortunately have to like look at Paris over here and like Shawn Michaels and like the 2013 WWE roster, which half those guys aren't even in the business anymore, or the company, I should say. So yeah, unfortunately, you have to kind of look at all that stuff. Oh, and you get to look at Stevie Nicks. So yeah, you guys got to kind of look at those for a few extra minutes. So anyway, so on to the stuff that I actually own, documentaries that I actually own. So this first one, it's actually part of the Scream film set, which actually this one only has like 1 through 3. Hopefully they'll kind of update it soon where like you can get all 4 movies in this one pack. But this actually does have two documentaries. Still Screaming, which I believe was made actually specifically for like this little set or whatever, and it talks about movies 1 through 4, which is pretty good. It's awesome, you know, really talking to like the entire cast, everyone involved. Really good one. And then the second one, Scream: The Inside Story, which actually I believe was like an the Channel E presentation. Like every year around Halloween, they usually seem to kind of like show some of these like some of these documentaries that they make about like horror movies and stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of you guys have actually saw the Inside Story one. That's actually really good too. It's an hour and a half. Really good. Kind of, you know, that was actually done a few years before the fourth one, so they don't talk about the fourth one obviously because like they didn't. I don't think they knew at the time that they were going to do the fourth one. But it's still really good. Talks about like, you know, the troubles that they had with like the first one. They kind of, you know, talk about how like they had one school picked out and then they were kind of like, oh wait, no, we want to back out. So a lot of like interesting stuff like that you didn't really realize that was going on, and even like with like Wes Craven being involved, like, and all these years later, like people are kind of like, well, it's a horror movie. We don't care if you're Wes Craven. We're pulling out of this movie. So, you know, just, they're pretty good. And, you know, even for someone like me who, even though I own these and I do own the fourth one, I have a very love-hate relationship with this franchise, which I will probably discuss in another video. So that'll probably be a video sometime in the near future. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, like I said, you know, really good. And I would, you know, and I bought this maybe like 2 years ago at Target. It was pretty, from what I remember, it was pretty inexpensive. I think it was like maybe around $20, if that, I think. So definitely kind of worth the money, especially when you get 2 documentaries in it. But yeah, those are really good documentaries to check out. Second one that I want to talk about, which is probably one of the first, like, horror movie documentaries that I've actually watched, like, aside from, like, little special features, little, like, 20-minute featurettes or whatever. And this one is Halloween, 25 Years of Terror. And this, like, this one seems to be kind of, like, popping up in different, like, sort of, like, whether it's a standalone film or in, like, a box set. Like, I know in one of my Halloween box sets, this actually is in there, so it's kind of nice, you know, and this is, got a lot of stuff in it. It's only, like, an hour and a half, so it's, like, one of the shorter ones. I know you guys are, like, shorter ones, like, that's a full-length movie. I'll get to the longer ones in a minute. But yeah, it's kind of, I like this because it does kind of talk a little bit about each movie. Like, it kind of goes from, you know, goes through like 1 through 9 or whatever, how many we're up to with Halloween. Actually, yeah, it does, because it does talk about, I believe it talks about resurrection in here too. So, not a bad movie, not a bad one. You know, got a lot of different interviews between like a couple of like Jamie Lee Curtis, but those were kind of more from like, you know, from like H2O and stuff, like little behind the scenes, like maybe little promo interviews and stuff. But it's still good, and um, it also, like they talk to like PJ Souls and Danielle Harris, obviously, Tom Atkins from Halloween 3. So they really kind of talk about, you know, each one. Talk to Mustafa Khad, who, kind of produced these and distributed these for many years before his son, Malik, took over the company and the franchise. So, yeah, it's nice, good little one. Definitely recommend watching this one. Um, and this one, obviously it's been out for a number of years now because getting we just hit like what 40th anniversary, or no, not yet, but like another 2 years we're coming up on like the 40th or something of, or no, 30th, 40th, whatever, we're coming up on no, 40th. It has to be 40th because this was only like 25 and this was released, I think, or at least I saw this right around like the 30th anniversary. So, yeah, so it's been out for a little while, but it's still good. Still really good documentary to check out. And this actually has 2 discs. So it's got like the documentary and like a second disc with like bonus materials. I think it actually has a little episode of like Horror's Hollowed Ground on here, which is good. I know a couple of the other ones I have features like a thing of Horror's Hollowed Ground where they kind of like, this guy has his own little show and he kind of just goes around to different like filming locations of different movies. And if you guys have never seen any of those Hollowed Ground segments, check them out. Go to like YouTube or something. You can check them out. They're really good. I like them. It's kind of cool to see. So second one, and I think I'm gonna make this because I'm kind of keeping an eye on the time here. I'm gonna probably do this in 2 separate videos for you guys because I know it would be like way too long for you guys if I did them all in once. So I think the last one I'm going to talk about just for this video would be Going to Pieces, the rise and fall of slasher movies. This is another good one. This one, though, I have to warn you, gives a lot of spoilers to a lot of movies. So just kind of be forewarned, like, there's probably going to be movies some of you may or may not have seen. So when you're watching it, just keep in mind there's going to be quite a few spoilers. And I like this one because it does talk about quite a collection of movies. And it has a lot of different interviews with a lot of different people, a lot of different directors, makeup effects people, actors in these, producers, just a lot of really good stuff. And honestly, I think you'd be surprised. Like, you might come across a few movies you may never have heard of, and you're like, ooh, kind of want to check that out. So yeah, I definitely, highly recommend this one here. Really good. And just to give you guys heads up too, because I know over the last few months, some of you guys have kind of like posted on my Facebook. I know it's not like the same cover art, but it's like it says Going to Pieces, the rise and fall of horror or slasher movies. A lot of guys have kind of thought that this might have been the poster for, or even like the title of the upcoming sort of like horror Expendables movie. This is like, I think a fan just kind of like redid the artwork and used like little tagline in the title for that, but this is totally different from that, from like all the movie with all the horror icons kind of going to be in it. Totally different. So just to let you guys know, this has been out for like 10 years now at least, but sorry, just had to kind of throw that out there. So in this one, I think this one has a couple of little bonus features, which it's been a while since I've watched the bonus features. But once again, anything, anything with a little extra like bonus stuff, gotta check it out. So yeah, so there's a couple of movies, a couple of documentaries to check out. I think I'm gonna call it quits for at least this video. Next video, I'll go over the rest that I kind of want to talk about. So yeah, I will probably see you guys in a couple minutes. Till then, just stay thirsty for blood, my friends. Stay thirsty.